Welcome to our tub. Come on in. It's warm inside, and there's always room for more.
This podcast contains adult material and is intended for mature audiences only. If you're under 18, grab your rubber ducky and find another tub. This one's not for you. Hello and welcome back in the tub for episode 223. I'm Mr. Berg.
And I'm Mrs. Berg.
And this week, we have another pretty full episode conversation. And this one, wow, is there a story to this?
Oh, quite a story.
Yes. From preacher to porn.
Mm-hmm.
Her story has been on mainstream media, and she really openly shares what her journey has been. And we have a great conversation.
It was another one that could have gone on and on.
And we chatted for a good bit afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Great personality.
Yeah.
Smiled throughout the interview.
Yeah. And we just really definitely, everything about her was positive. Mm-hmm. And when you look at the life coach aspect and some of the speaking and everything else she's done, you know, she's out there to share her story. Mm-hmm. And bring positivity to others. Mm-hmm. And again, just enjoying what she does. So we're not going to take too much time yapping here. Mm-hmm. And we're going to hop into the tub for our conversation with, as we said, story across mainstream media. You can catch her in a lot of television conversations.
Yes.
From preacher to porn star, the beautiful Nikole Mitchell.
You gotta quit choosing in the hot tub. Don't make it the water all fucking gross. You gotta quit choosing in the hot tub. I don't know what this doing in this bush. I got fight my rage. Put your students far away.
All right, welcome back in the tub. And as we welcome you, the listeners, we're also welcoming a special guest this week as well. I want to thank Lainey Spicer for getting this meeting and conversation set up today. This stunning woman has a successful resume that's so vast, we could have multiple episodes of what we could only imagine are great experiences and stories to share. Some of those have initially been shared on multiple television and radio appearances, which is some of where it all began. Her journey through life and the experiences now find her in the adult entertainment world, exploring herself and sharing it with her fans and new followers, all while continuing her passion for public speaking and life coaching to assist others. We're excited to learn more about her and this journey today. Please take a minute and welcome Nikole Mitchell to the show. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yes, and again, thank you for taking some time out of your schedule to, sit down and, as we said, share what we're looking forward to is some great stories and insight and learn more about you.
I'm so excited. We're going to have the best conversation.
Awesome. Well, as we get comfortable, can you let everyone know where can they find you online and on social media?
Yes, you can find all of my links on my website, NikoleMitchell.com. Nikole is spelled with a K, Nikole, Mitchell. I'm active on all of them, but I am the most active on Minx, OnlyFans, and Instagram.
Awesome. All right. So plenty of spaces, and as well as we did our research, there were definitely every avenue. There, you're going to find something somewhere, and it just keeps taking you farther down a rabbit hole in some instances.
Yeah,
Awesome.
Totally. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna. I mean, that is awesome because you can go as deep as you want.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I've been on almost every platform, Dr. Phil, Jimmy Kimmel, ABC, CBS, Fox, like there's so much out there. And I actually love that. I think we have a very similar passion where I'm so passionate about destigmatizing sex work and owning your desires and owning who you are and what you came here to do in the world. And as someone who used to be a pastor before I became an adult sex worker, like that journey was so hard and so scary. And if I can talk about this as much as possible and like reassure people that trusting your gut and trusting your intuition and being your truthful self is worth it, then I will have fulfilled a very real purpose of my calling.
And you use the word fulfillment there. And that really is it. Why throughout life, as we talked briefly before we started recording, we're all kind of programmed to this is how you do it in society. But the last thing you want to do is, oh boy, shoulda, woulda, coulda, as you get to the end. Live a fulfilled life and
I remember,
enjoy it.
Yeah, I remember reading an article years ago called The Top 10 Regrets of the Dying. And one of them was not being who they really were and not doing what they actually wanted to do with their life. And that resonated so deeply because I had spent my whole life being the good girl, being the good wife, the good mother, the good daughter, the good friend, the good neighbor. But I was slowly withering inside because, yes, I am a good person, but I'm also a slut. And I love sex and I love pleasure. And I want to like have these experiences that I was raised to believe were horrible or wrong or immoral. And so I had this like conflict. Like I felt like I was like just war and peace in my body. Like I sometimes I feel good about my good life, and then other times I'm like, what am I doing? And so when I read that article, it's like, I don't want that to be my regret. I don't want to get to my end of my life and wish I had lived differently. So if I don't want that at the end of my life, what do I need to do today to live my truth more truthfully?
And when you find that, and I've talked to a few people, like we've both had parents pass away over the last, my father a few months ago, her father about a year ago. And after my father had passed, I'm going, what the hell am I doing? Like, do I need to change like some of myself? I work a lot. I have 2 full-time jobs plus the show. So I'm always working. It's not a necessity, but I'm going, you know what? Maybe it's time to back away from one because I want to travel. I want to have the last thing I want to do in 20 years is be like, shit, damn, I should have. So it really, thought process.
Resonates. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
It resonates as well with both of us saying, maybe we are too much and why? Let's do.
Yeah, it's just like, God, we have one life and we all know how fast it goes. You blink and it's 10 years have passed. You blink again, 20 years have passed. And, being raised in the church and religion, obviously I was raised non-denominational Baptist. They're very anti-sex outside of marriage. And so not only did they teach me how to abstain from sex, they taught me how to abstain from joy, how to abstain from pleasure, how to abstain from freedom. And so when I left all of that a few years ago, I felt like I was decades behind on what it means to be a full-grown adult, someone who has freedom, someone who has pleasure, someone who has autonomy, someone who trusts their desires and honors them. And so now I feel like my whole point in life is to cram as much pleasure as I can because it's so short, it's so brief, pleasure is so effing amazing. And I want to like embrace the thing I was taught to fear. And I have found the more pleasure I allow into my life, the better my life gets.
Yeah, because you go backwards again to what you had said. You feel fulfilled at the end of a night of pleasure and fun, wild sex. You're just like, wow, boy, I feel fucking great. I mean,
it's so true. And here's the thing is like, no one can tell you what's going to make you feel fulfilled. You are the only person who can know that. But when I was raised in my religion, it's like, we will tell you what's fulfilling and we will tell you what you need to do or shouldn't do. And it wasn't until I got out of that, I realized, holy schmoly, like no one knows except for me what turns me on, what revs my engine, what makes me feel good, what makes me feel gross and depleted. And like, learning to reorient my life around my desires was so scandalous at the time and so radical because I'd been taught to fear my desires to where now I can't imagine life where I don't honor my desires because I am the only one who knows what makes me tick and what works for me. And this is what I want everyone who's listening is like, you're the only one who knows what turns you on, what turns you off. And your job is to orient your life around your wiring and your desires.
Yeah. Exactly. That in the lifestyle, swingers lifestyle, it's one of those, well, every female, it's something different that gets them off. You know, we've had so many couples we've been with, and the reality is, afterwards, Mrs. is like, yeah, it was good, but you know, he was so about this, but had no clue of what gets me there. All right, cool, we're done. See you guys later. Now I need to finish my side of it, because you're right, exactly that. You know what does you.
Yeah. Yeah, God, I can so relate to that. I was married before for almost 12 years, and in that marriage, my husband never gave me one orgasm. And there was issues, like our church, our upbringing prepared us for that, meaning they had done such a good job at forcing us to stuff down our desires, to fill us with so much body shame and sex shame, that I think we were both ill-equipped to know how to maximize my pleasure. And so I was too embarrassed to, like, I never faked it, and he knew I wasn't getting off, but I was too embarrassed to be like, well, maybe try this, because I was like, I'm showing him how I masturbate, and in my head that was wired that is so wrong. So I wouldn't tell him. He doesn't know what he's doing. And when I got out of that marriage, one of my litmus tests for my future partner was like, they have to be devoted to getting me off. If they are not going to try and put the effort in, I'm not dating you, because I've gone 12 years of being sexually starved, and I will not starve it again. And it's crazy because I was on food stamps for 10 years, and like, I was so sick of it, that I'm going to get rich someday. And I have my own personal data that I have found that there is some connection or correlation between pleasure and profit. The month I was given my first orgasm was the month I had my first $100,000 month. So I have found from my own research that the more I surrender to my pleasure, the more I demand my pleasure, the more money I make, because there's similar overlaps. I demand a certain pay. I demand a certain standard from my people or my clients or my business. And so when you learn how to demand pleasure for yourself, every area in your life will get better.
Yeah, that's a great. It's great planning and thinking to really kind of nail into that. But I can see where that pleasure and everything goes from that. Hey, you made the money where you're comfortable in one end to be comfortable across, and then be like, hey, guess what? Yep, screw it. This is what I need.
Yeah. This is what I need. This is what I want. This is what I demand. This is what I deserve. Like, I think I can't believe just how much religion convinced me that knowing what I want is so wrong. Because that's the only way, like, to bring it back to the beginning, the only way to have a fulfilling life is to know what you want and to create a life where you're able to get that. And so I love destigmatizing our desires and our preferences and our wiring, because you deserve a fulfilling life. You deserve a life where you go to bed at the end of the day, like, the biggest smile, like, I can't believe this is my life.
Yeah.
And if my life coaching work or my adult work can help someone feel that way more and more each day, like, that is the best news I can hear.
Yeah. And when you look at the religion and sex, it is for having babies. That's it. There's nothing else about it. It's not about the pleasure. It's about, this is what we do
to procreate.
To procreate and keep the race going. But here we are. I mean, we can, even from your standpoint, I mean, the first time it was, when we got into the lifestyle, we had our discussions. She was like, well, maybe I'm kind of like, bi-curious. Like, I can go to a strip club and sit and enjoy. The first experience, her first bi experience, I remember the next morning, she goes,
we need to change that profile.
We need to, I am bi. No question about it. I'm like, from a guy's standpoint, I'm like, sweet, I'm great. Okay, cool, awesome. But for so long, it was, no, that's not a thing.
Mm-hmm. I freaking love that. I was very similar. After I had my first girl experience, I felt like I became a dude. And every woman who walked by me, I'd be like, I tap that. I hit that. And I'm like, oh my God, is this how men think? I was so horny and so turned on and find women so delicious. I'm like, oh, I think I get it now.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I mean, we go out places and it's almost like a race to see which one of us can point
find
women
someone
out
walking first.
to the other.
Yeah, she's like, hey, and I'm like, oh, I missed that. Oh, no, I saw that one. Well, why didn't you tell me? I'm like,
I love that. That's like something else I learned about my journey. Like this is why I love just experiences in general, but especially sexual, is not only do you have freedom and pleasure, but you learn new things about yourself. So just like you learn new things about yourself, I've learned since opening up. I'm engaged. I'm a fiance now. Since opening up our relationship, I get so turned on when he sleeps with another woman. I am like the biggest cuck queen. I'm like, please go sleep with them, and I'll either watch, I'll join, or you come home and just tell me everything. Any version, I am so turned on. And I love, because he's like, oh my God, he's like, you have an infidelity kink. And I'm like, I think I do. And I love that I've learned about this about myself, because it's enriched our relationship. It's dropped a lot of fears of like, am I jealous? Will I be possessive? And I'm like, no, I actually am really good at sharing. I love sharing, and I love how much it turns me on. And then I get to channel all that turned on energy towards my partner. Oh, like the things I was taught to fear become the very things I love the most. And that's where I feel like religion has duped so many people like me.
Yeah. And that, what you just said, I mean, I think we're both at that as well. I've talked about it. I was extremely early on insecure and extremely jealous. When we got into the lifestyle, though, I have that. I'm like, we'll be in a foursome, and it's like, all right, I want to be in a spot where I can watch her with the other guy, because this is freaking great. Fucking love it. All right. It just is one of those. I'm like, yeah, the jealousy isn't like.
But then even like afterwards, the sex when we come home is even better.
And the discussion is fucking insane. It's the best. And they say that comeback, the reconnection in a swinging experience is huge. And they're not wrong.
I love that you shared that, because I think for people who are listening who are maybe feeling insecure or jealous or scared as they're like dipping their toes in the open world, whatever form that takes, the fear can be, am I always going to be this way? Am I always going to be jealous, always possessive, always scared, always insecure? And so I love that you shared that, because it, to me, is a reminder, like we're all on an evolution of our journey, and you might be jealous now. You might not be a year from now. You might be insecure now. You might not be insecure a year from now. So like there's hope for anyone who's listening, who's like afraid, like what if I'm stuck this way? I don't think we are. I think through experience and exposure and support and therapy, you can actually overcome our initial feelings that are uncomfortable. And so that I love too. I was afraid. I'm like, what if I do get jealous? And if I had stayed that fear of maybe I'll get jealous and I never opened my relationship, I would not have experienced the euphoric joy and pleasure I get to experience on the daily, because I was willing to have the courage to try it and willing to grow on my journey.
Yeah, exactly. About opening up and saying, all right, you got to take the step.
Yeah.
And see, and maybe it's little steps. Maybe it's big steps. I mean,
right.
We jumped head first.
Jumping in head first.
We didn't even. It was like, we're going to kind of feel this out. Next thing we know, we're in a room with Rick and 4 other naked people and just going. And we woke up the next morning and went, what the fuck just happened? Okay, let's have a conversation.
I love that. Same thing. My goal is to go slow and steady. And my very first girl was a threesome with 2 other women, and it was being filmed for a European documentary. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is happening? But I'm not turning this down, because I've been dying to have my first girl experience. So I get it. It's like we can have good intentions and plans, and they don't always happen that way.
Yeah, and things happen for a reason. I mean, we were literally like, okay, great. We talked about it, and I think another couple that we had met that night at that party, literally the next week, we were with them. So I'm like, all right, cool, great.
Love that. Oh my gosh, I love that.
So
yeah,
as we go back to kind of, just that start, and you had said you got into the OnlyFans initially, just not sure. What was that first step like, and what was OnlyFans for you at that point?
I love that. I started my OnlyFans as a place to practice taking up space, right? Because I've taught my church less of you, more of Christ. Right. So I've been taught to shrink myself as much as possible. And I was learning that that's actually horrible for your mental and emotional well-being. And so I started my OnlyFans like, what would it look like for Nikole Mitchell to take up space? And what would it look like for me to actually be seen as sexy and maybe receive a compliment, maybe receive a little money for it? Like, it was just like, I want to learn to reclaim my pleasure, reclaim my autonomy, reclaim my agency. And when I first started, there was no nudity. I was way too shy and bashful and very awkward in the beginning, which is part of why I've built have a very loyal fan base, because it wasn't just like Pornhub where you go and it's instant porn. It's like, here's a real woman in real time feeling into her desires and bodies and boundaries, and here's what she's comfortable with doing and here's what she's not. So it's a very authentic like evolution and uncensoring and eventually uncovering more and more of my body. But man, it started so shy and bashful. I will say one of the things I'm so proud that I did in the beginning is, shortly after I started it, I wrote this social media post just saying, hey, because then I had a following back then too. I was a mega church pastor. I've had a following, so I knew they were watching me.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm starting this new thing. It's called OnlyFans. I feel called to it. I'm very excited. I'm expressing myself very sensually. If you want to join along, I would love to have you. If you find this offensive, you can unfollow me or unfriend me now. And I just put that hard line of like, I want you to come along for the journey, but if you can't handle this, please block me. And just let everyone know at once, like, this is what I'm doing, and I'm not going to keep explaining myself. Like, if you accidentally find my page, it's out there, I'm owning it, and I'm on a new journey.
And grab the bull by the horns and put it straight out there. Look,
Or by the balls.
yeah. Either way, and but again, to really put that out. Hey, as you said, to draw the line. You can join me or you can't. This is who I am now. That's
I love that you added the now. This is who I am now. Because we're allowed to change. We're allowed to evolve. We're allowed to pivot. We're allowed to become different iterations of yourself. In fact, in my upbringing, there's a lot of pride in I'm the same person I was 10 years ago. To me, that is the biggest red flag. If you are taking pride in not growing, not changing, not learning anything new, that is so terrifying to me. So for people to have the freedom, like, it's okay if a year ago you were totally not open to swinging and now you're interested. It's totally okay if a year ago you didn't want to do this thing, but now you are open to this thing. Like, that to me is the most natural and healthy thing ever, is like, you are allowed to change, and who you are now is deserving of love and respect as the version of you who you'll be 6 months from now or 6 years from now.
and
And that, like, our journey in the lifestyle from what we like in
Yeah,
the
we've
beginning,
talked
we're
about
like, no, absolutely not, to now like exploring different avenues and
it's the world in general,
Right,
though,
right.
too. I mean, and because I have that conversation at my everyday job. During the day, I do restaurant consulting and sales. I'm in the food service business, and I talk to people every day. Like, guess what? If you're not evolving, the world around you is always evolving. If a restaurant isn't evolving, guess what? In 4 years, your doors are closed and you're dead because you don't evolve and change. You're going to lose customers. Well, you're going to lose, as you said earlier, your own mental. If you're not changing and evolving with everything else around you, you're going to lose yourself.
Yeah, God, I love that. You will lose yourself. And I think so many of us have lost ourselves because of how we were raised or been programmed or indoctrinated. And what is seen as a midlife crisis or scandalous or a mental breakdown, these are all things people thought I had. People thought I had a mental breakdown. People thought I had a midlife crisis. People thought I was this causing a scandal because I was off my rocker. Was really just a journey coming home to myself. Of like, who am I and what do I want? And what do I want at this stage of my life? Oh, I want to make more money and have more sex. Great, I'm going to do it. Like, so now when I see someone have a quote unquote midlife crisis and people freak out on the internet, I immediately lean in with curiosity. I'm like, ooh, this must be their newest iteration. And I'm like genuinely excited for them to find themselves. I'm not the person who's like, how dare you change? I'm like, I'm so glad you're changing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You know, in the past, like, I remember, I even take it to, when my father bought his car. I'm like, Dad, midlife crisis. He bought a sports car. He went out and he was always wanting. He's like, look what I got. I'm like, oh, okay, you got a damn nice convertible sports car. I'm like, midlife crisis.
The one that now his grandson is
gonna
driving, and the car's the same age as he is.
Yeah. Now our son drives it. It's the same age as our son. It was that my father passed in October, but it was always that was his. And I'm like, well, it's gone down. But no, back then it was like, oh, midlife crisis. Then I'm like, no, you know what? He was just enjoying shit at that point because he moved to Florida from Pennsylvania and he bought a damn convertible Mustang.
You have to in Florida. If you live in Florida, California, you have to have a convertible at some point. And you're right. He'd have a midlife crisis. He finally honored what he'd always wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's what blows my mind is like, I think people are quick to slap on midlife crisis because it makes them uncomfortable to admit that person had that desire all along. I think it was easier for my parents to like, our daughter is having a midlife crisis. She's having a mental breakdown. Then admit that, man, maybe my daughter has always wanted to be a sex worker. What did I do wrong? Like, to avoid that uncomfortable conversation or realization, it's like, let's make her the problem. Let's say she's on drugs. Let's say, like, it is crazy what we will project onto other people simply because we are unwilling to sit with our uncomfortable feelings.
And maybe even a little jealous.
Is it jealousy? Is it not having to feel like they have to answer hard questions? Which really isn't a hard question. No. Guess what? They're an adult. They are making the decisions that are in their best interest or what they feel is the best for them.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want. Radical concept for an adult, you know? Like, it is interesting, like, when I went through this transition in my life, and my parents did freak out, obviously, because of what they believe, and part of why they freaked out is exactly like you said. They were now going to have to answer to friends and family who would see me online, their daughter doing this adult stuff, and they were so afraid of their reputation because of who I was being, how I was living. It made me realize how much we are so addicted to people pleasing, that these grown adults in their 50s and 60s, like, we're still so afraid what people would think of them.
Yeah.
And that's why I like to joke, we're all middle schoolers at the end of the day. We're all middle schoolers trapped in our bodies. We're still so afraid of what so-and-so is going to think. We don't want anyone to say anything bad about us. How do we keep the teachers happy or keep our people in authority that we see as authority and happy? And I'm like, we've got to break out of that. Like, we deserve so much more than acting like middle schoolers. Like, we are grown-ass adults. We can have hard conversations. Yeah.
You're never going to please everyone. And as a person, you don't have to please anybody but yourself.
Nah.
I got to that point a while ago. I'm like, I don't give a shit what anybody else thinks. This is me. Like, take it or leave it. Sorry. And
I love that. Like, keep going.
Oh, I was going to say, but that's just the way that you got it, because you'll drive yourself crazy trying to please everybody.
You'll lose. You'll lose every time. Something I love, even like in my partnership, because that's like things get a little more sticky when you have a partner, because now you have to take into someone else's feelings into consideration. And so when we started opening our relationship, and, as a sex worker, I have a high demand. As a dude, he doesn't have as much high of a demand, right? Like, women will always have more men lined up than women will line up for men, typically. And I loved his wisdom. He said, I don't want us to ask each other, hey, Nikole, are you okay if I go sleep with this woman? Or, hey, honey, are you okay if I go with this client tonight? He's like, that's when we get into parental role. He goes, I don't like that. He's like, my version of that question is, how do you feel if I go book the session tonight? How do you feel if I go have this experience tonight? This is not about permission. This is like, are we in a good place emotionally where we can handle this possible disruption or these other experiences? So even that, it's like, that is my favorite way to honor my partner. It's not, I have to run everything by him. It's not, I need his permission or approval. It's, hey, are we good? You good? I'm good. You feel good if I go off with this client? Or, Nikole, do you feel good if I go off with this woman? I'm like, oh yeah, please go off with that woman. That turns me, like, I love that. Like, I can check in without surrendering my power and giving out someone else authority over my life.
And it's little communication. And and that flows into, as we've talked about in the lifestyle, communication is one of the biggest things. Even in regular life, if you can communicate well with your partner, then boy, there shouldn't be issues with anything.
I feel like being in the adult industry, it forces you to evolve and grow your communication skill. And my entire life has benefited as a result, right? Like before I got into the adult industry, I was a very timid, very much a people pleaser, didn't want anyone to be disappointed in me, cared about what everyone thought about me, terrible at communication. And to see how far I've come precisely because of my work, because you have to communicate your boundaries, your standards, your expectations, where you were hurt, where you were excited. Everything in my life has gotten better. I'm better at conflict. I'm better at resolution. I'm better at checking in. I'm better at preventing potential miscommunication problems. I'm better at cleaning up communication problems. Like, this is what I love about the lifestyle or the adult industry. People think it corrupts you and ruins you, when it actually has forced me to be a better person and a better communicator.
Yeah. Yeah. The lines of communication just, they have to be there. And you can't be afraid to communicate about anything.
Yeah.
And, you know, going even back with the way things were with, you had said, we're raised this way. So you're afraid to communicate those desires and feelings early on. Now you're at the point where, guess what? I can communicate all of that.
Yes, I can communicate anything and everything. Like, I freaking love that. And that's why I just I want people who are listening to have so much hope that if you're on your whatever version of your journey is, whether you're opening your relationship or you're just becoming a different version of you, like, you can feel so wobbly in the beginning because we don't know. We're new to it. These, like, I don't know who I am fully. I don't know how to communicate this. I'm like when my partner and I first started talking about this, it was hard, it was messy, it was emotional. And I can say, thank goodness, where we are now, it's so much more calmer and so much easier. But it's because we were willing to stay the course. We didn't judge ourselves for being wobbly. We didn't judge ourselves for being emotional. We're like, this is normal. We are new. And as we have more experiences and get better, we're going to get better. And so for anyone who's listening, like, be encouraged, because it does get easier the more experiences you have and the more you're willing to learn from earlier mistakes. It does make you a better person. It makes you a better communicator, and it gives you a better life.
Yeah. We all started wobbly on our feet when we were a baby learning how to walk, and we wobbled and bounced off of things and hit the ground and got back up and kept going.
Exactly.
It's life's journey.
It is life's journey. That's so good. I love that.
Then it comes full circle and you end up all wobbly and bumping into things off
at
at the end too.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's true. It's true.
Yep. But it's
my gosh.
about how it is in between and loving and enjoying it. That's it.
Yep, that's why. Like, max out the pleasure in your life until you're wobbly. Like, and still find pleasure when you're wobbly. But it's like, life is so short. Life is so fragile. And, like, it's crazy. Like, 6 months ago, I woke up with, like, severe neck and back pain out of the blue. I was perfectly fine, healthy, whatever. I went from I feel 25. I'm not. I'm in my 40s. But I feel 25, and I woke up feeling 80. And I was completely immobilized. Like, I couldn't turn my head. And it's now 6 months. I'm getting a ton of help for it. But just like that, overnight, I couldn't do a lot of sex positions. I couldn't do a lot of my favorite things because I was in so much pain. I was like, I'm like, if this is how it's going to be the rest of my life, like, I'm going to freak out. But it made me so grateful that I had already for years been capitalizing on my health and my freedom and my ability to enjoy pleasure. So it's like, we're all, our health is going to fail us all at some point. We don't know when. So make the most of your freaking life.
Yeah. Yeah. You never know when something's going to, well, here I am. I'm 10 months into now waiting for the fourth surgery on my arm. So, that's, like, you never know. So do it while you can, and again, enjoy it. So at what point you started the OnlyFans, and it was, clothing and some modeling, not nude. At what point did you say, no, doggy's here.
I didn't even hear.
Did you say, hey, maybe I want to take this further than OnlyFans, because you just recently had a scene release, a large orgy scene.
My first orgy ever.
Yes. So at what point did, you say, guess what? I'm going to take it a step farther and get out of the content creation world and expand this. Because even the names that you were with, the co-stars on that scene.
Holy cow.
Yeah. I mean, there are huge veteran names in the industry. To have your first orgy with, it says a lot.
I know, I honestly feel so honored. And here's the thing, I've been doing my OnlyFans for 7 years. This has been a 7-year journey, a 7-year evolution. I started completely covered, super shy, super bashful, and slowly over time I've opened up. And I still didn't think I'd have my first orgy for a while. I didn't think I was there at my journey, but just like we talked about earlier, we can have plans and intentions. And the next thing you know, you're thrown in the deep end. And I got invited to this big orgy collab, and I was like, I have to do it. These are big names. This is an incredible opportunity. I feel honored that they've taken me on, because at this point, I don't do mainstream porn. I do all independent content. And so to be invited with these big industry names, I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done this before. I'm a little intimidated, but I'm also super excited because I'm a slut and I love sex and I love people. And it was such an incredible experience. And I have honestly felt that way about my entire journey. Every time I have something new, I'm like, oh my God, this is so new. I can't believe I'm doing this. And then I end up loving it. But I also think I love it because I haven't rushed anything. I have wanted to do stuff like this for years, but I was waiting until my partner and I were in a place where we felt emotionally ready for that. And so even though I could have done that maybe 5 years ago, I waited. And that, I think, is what's made my journey mostly smooth, is I was willing to take my time, trust the process, trust my evolution. And lo and behold, it led to an orgy with all these amazing people. And I am so freaking grateful.
So, and again, you did it on your terms as you gained comfort and confidence in doing it.
Yes, 100%. And even to this day, I still have mainstream pitching me all the time. The second I say yes, I will have a deal with a mainstream company, and I'm not there yet. Even though I've been making content for 7 years, I'm just not there. And I love that I get to honor my journey and my process that way. And that's the exact same way I started getting into escorting. Same thing. It's I've wanted to do that probably most of my adult life. I didn't think it was ever going to be possible because of my religion and my upbringing.
Sure.
And then I was married in a monogamous marriage, and now I have a partner and we're open, but still that is a hard job to have for most partners. And so I'm like, maybe this will never happen. And then we took our time until we both felt ready, and it finally happened.
Very nice. Well, and the question was going to be, all right, this was your first mainstream orgy, so is there plans for continued in it? So, hey, when the time is right, and you'll know that.
Exactly. And I will say this, I can't recommend enough having a mentor. As a life coach, I've had a life coach of some kind since 2017. I hired my first life coach, and it's been 9 years of nonstop mentorship from different coaches. And right now my mentor is Melanie Monroe, who's huge in the industry, amazing woman, so good at what she does. And that is a huge reason why I've had so much success on my journey, is I'm willing to learn from those who've gone before me. I'm willing to learn from those who have what I want. I'm willing to I don't need to learn all the hard lessons myself, and I can have someone just tell me, avoid this, do this, try that. And of course I filter it through what feels right for me.
Sure.
But mentorship has been so helpful. And even when we tried swinging for a while, we found swinging isn't our thing. But my partner ended up having a friend who kind of became his mentor while we were swinging, and it was awesome that he had someone to process with outside of me. So if for those who are listening, whether you're just becoming a newer version of yourself or you're open for a relationship, if you can find someone who can mentor you, that can be invaluable in making your journey a lot more smoother.
Yeah, and I think we can say, when we got into the lifestyle, there was a couple initially that we became friends with. And they had been in for quite a few years longer. And we really, we played with them a lot over the first few years. And we learned a lot from them. They were someone that became friends. They were, our kids were friends. Like it got that it got that far that like our kids were friends, and we've had people in the lifestyle throughout that were that way. We became, family friends as well, and we could have those conversations. And we've talked to a lot of other people within the industry, and some that have said, boy, we wish there was someone else, and others that are like, hey, this, we had that mentor to help us, because it can be just like any industry, but it could be a lot worse in this industry. There's a lot worse consequences.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm a very positive person by nature, and I'm also a really bounded person. So I've had almost all completely positive experiences as a sex worker, starting in OnlyFans all the way to where I'm escorting now. And I think that's why I'm so public about what I do, is I love pushing back on the stereotype or assumptions or misnomer that if you are a sex worker or you're a swinger or whatever, you're broken, you're depressed, you're desperate, you don't care about your loved one. Like, it's insane at what people believe about people in the adult industry. And I'm like, I'm healthy, I'm thriving. I don't do it because I need the money. I do it because I'm passionate and I love offering passionate experiences. I'm a great partner. I'm a great mother. Like, and that's why I'm so open, is like, I hate the stereotypes of how, oh, if you're a swinger, you must be this, or, oh, if you're a sex worker, this is what's wrong with you. And it's like, you know what? Some of us do this because we're happy, healthy people.
It's not a world of came from broken homes and drug addicts.
Right.
That is, I go back, I had that story with my father before he passed away. When he found out about the show, I told him about the show, and he was like, you better watch out with those people. And I went, whoa, Dad, we need to have a conversation.
Yeah.
We did, and the next day he called me and he goes, you know what, you're right, I'm sorry. I went,
oh my God.
Okay. I'm like, he was like, yeah, you're right. He's like, it's just the job that they do. He was like, I was wrong. And I said, okay. I said, I just want you to, because I think it was at a point that it was right after our son's birthday or something. And a friend in the industry, a performer, we were at a convention and she was like, oh, his birthday's coming up.
It was his 18th birthday.
It was his 18th birthday. And she's like, this is my most G-rated picture. And she signed it to him. We gave it to him for his birthday, and he put it in a frame, and it was in his bedroom.
It's still there.
It still is there. Yeah, and it's great. And he's like, what? I'm like, look. I'm like, the reality is we've become great friends. So,
but unfortunately, the stigma comes from those unpleasant situations that do happen. Those are the ones that scream louder.
Yes.
Just like you look at Amazon or anything where people can review. People are more likely to put a negative review on there than a positive review.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all you complain about. I mean, it's you're going to leave a negative rather than leave if you had a slight negative rather than leave a great positive if it was good positive.
It's all in what
so
screams
true.
louder though.
Yep. Yeah. Totally media driven everything.
Yep.
So now you're OnlyFans. Full blown? Everything? Are you doing collabs? What's that look like when someone joins your OnlyFans? Because I will say, we did all of our research. We did join your OnlyFans, but we haven't had a chance to go all the way through it.
There's a lot of content. There's 7 years of content on there. Yeah, I haven't done boy-girl content in like 5 years.
Okay.
And just this year, I started doing boy-girl content, escorting, orgies. Like this, I feel like 2026 is the year I'm just like, let's freaking go. I have had the hard conversations. I have evolved. My relationship has evolved. Like everything just kind of coalesced and came together at the end of 2025. And I'm having the time of my life. Everything has been so safe and above board. I am making so much money. And I'm just so happy that I was willing to have the hard conversations. I was willing to like take the time and trust the process, because I've wanted to make boy girl content for years, but I waited till we were ready, and now I got to do a freaking orgy. So yeah, now I'm doing everything. Still slow. I do like one boy girl scene a month. Like that's where I'm at right now. And so my fans love it. They get the one hit and then they're like craving all month long for the next hit. And so we're having so much fun right now on my OnlyFans.
Awesome. Well, that is great. So
yeah,
when as you've kind of progressed, when it comes to any type of conventions, are any of those on your radar?
I did see in scrolling through her social media, she was at AVN this year.
I went to AVN last year for the first time. AVN again this year. Had the time of my life. And then that's the main one. And I do X3. I do X3 and XBiz in LA. So January is when I do AVN in Vegas, X3 and XBiz in LA. I want to do more. I was going to do like XBiz everywhere and do Exotica everywhere. But my escorting business has become so successful that I'm traveling more and making way more money doing that I'm not like I wanted to go to Exotica this weekend.
Chicago's it's next weekend in Chicago. Yep, we'll be there. Yeah, we do all the Exoticas. We did AVN this year for the first time. It was always one of those let's do it. She got a new job.
That was a wow.
Yeah, she had got a new job, so we had more wiggle room for time off, and I'm like, guess what? We're going. Tough shit. Like, let's go. And it was
the whole trip in a whole was
we did a whole 7 days. Like, I love Vegas. I am a high speed, high energy party, drinking cigars, bourbon, and let's go.
I love it.
We went Sunday to Sunday. We had to change our flights to get back to the East Coast because there was a giant snowstorm coming through.
Oh my gosh.
We ended up getting back Monday afternoon to Pittsburgh to 18 inches of snow.
Wow.
And it was just like, oh boy. But I'm like, we had one hell of a freaking week. It was a great time.
I love hearing that. I'm so glad you guys got to go. I think everyone should attend AVN at least once in their life. I also highly recommend XBiz and X3 in LA in January. It's an intimate, smaller version of AVN, and I really like that because I get actually quite a bit of time with my fans. AVN's a little bit crazy, but it's such a great experience. I love that you guys took a whole week and made the most of it. That is amazing.
Yeah, I was like, guess what?
It took us almost 2 weeks to recover from it, though.
Yeah.
I'm sure. They call it the avian flu. I got the avian flu at the end of it. I got so sick. So, I get it.
We were good. I've gotten that at one convention. Mm-hmm. I got it after one Exotica.
You're not the one that normally gets sick either.
No.
So.
That shit knocked me out for 5 days. I couldn't get out of bed.
Oh,
yeah. So So going to AVN, it is real. Yeah. So going to AVN, I was like, emergency every morning. Like, I was pouring bourbon into my coffee in the morning. I'm like, I'll burn that out. We'll be good.
I love that.
Yeah. So again, there's a place that fans can see you.
Yeah.
At whether it be in LA or Vegas. And we get that. Hey, if business pays more than spending the money to go to an Exotica, well, you know what? At the end of the day, it's all about the money. I mean, you got to go where it's at.
I love making money, and I do offer fan experiences. So I've also had fans hire me, and it's been so incredible because I've had fans I've known for years. And they finally get to experience me in real life. And it's just mind-blowing for both of us. Because I've known them for 5 or 6 or 7, however long they've been on my OnlyFans. Yeah. They've known me. To finally experience each other in person is so magical. So I love that I get to offer that now to them.
That is awesome. So when you're not OnlyFans and working from the escorting side or public speaking, what does a day look like for you? How do you unwind and relax? And as we like to discuss, how do you control your mental health and stay grounded?
I love that. It's crazy because I think what kind of forces me to balance is I'm a mom of 5. So I have 5 kids I have to take care of. And, they're 10 to 19. So they're older and they're very independent. It's really, I'm in a sweet spot in life right now. But that forces me to have balance. That forces me when I pick up and I take my kids to school, pick them up every time. So when they come home from school, I'm off because I'm there with my babies, right? Or I take them on trips or we go swimming. Like, so if I didn't have those kids, you better believe I'd be working 24/7 because I love to work. I love to make money, and I'm a very all-in hardcore personality. But because I have a family, I'm very grateful because it forces me to balance out. But my favorite way to unwind at the end of the day is I love being in my pool or my spa. I love drinking an old fashioned. I love putting on like a favorite movie or TV show, and just chilling with my partner or with my kids. And I live a very simple life. Outside of my travels and my work, I'm a very suburban mom, which is why most of my neighbors would never guess what I do, because I just take my kids to school, I pick them up, I don't know if I don't make them dinner, but I get dinner ready for them. We hang out, we go swimming. Like, it's just a very normal life, and I just happen to have a job that is sex work.
Yeah. And that's awesome that you have. In doing this job, we've talked to other performers. They're like, this job allows me to be a mom, to have that balance, which is so important. Mm-hmm. And again, that's simple. I mean, you hit it perfect for me, sit and have an old fashioned. I mean, literally, that is my end of the night on a Friday or Saturday. I'm like, I'm grabbing a bourbon, I'm grabbing a cigar. I will be outside in the hot tub. I'll turn something on the TV. I don't even care what it is. It's just some noise.
I love it.
And give me an hour. I'm good.
Yeah, it's so true. Like, I really believe sex work has made me a better mom because it forces me to have conversations with my kids that I would have otherwise avoided. Because again, as humans, we hate uncomfortable conversations. But when they ask, like, Mom, what do you do for work? Mom, like, what's 69 mean when they find, like, and it just, my work has made me a better communicator, more comfortable communicating. So I'm able to communicate with them in age appropriate ways. Yeah. And so it's made me a better mom. And the success I've created, and this is true of any job you have success with, but mine just happens to be in sex work. My success in sex work has allowed me to create a lifestyle for my children where I have an assistant each week who does all my cooking and cleaning and does all of my errands. Why? So I can do what only I can do, which is spend time with my kids. Anyone can cook. Anyone can clean. No one can be the mom to my children except for me. So I'm going to pay someone to do all the stuff I don't want to do so I can do the one thing I want to do, which is to be present with my children.
And that family is number one.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. The journey that it's been for you. Yeah. That you've navigated is great, and at the end of the day, to say I am grounded in my family, this is it here.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I will say this: the journey has been not easy. It's very hard to live your truth in a society that prefer you live in fear. It's hard to be your full self when people are constantly telling you you're too much or not enough. But it has so been worth it. And not only has it made my life extraordinarily beautiful, and not only has it given my children a beautiful life, but I love they've been able to see their mom grow and bloom and blossom in real time. And that I'm instilling them the value that you living your truthful self is the most important thing. I don't expect you to be a watered down version of yourself. I expect you to be all of you, and all of you is perfect and exactly who you're meant to be, and I'm here for it. And so I'm excited to see how that continues to shape them and mold them into the future, because I think every person deserves that. Every person to live their truth and live life on their terms. And I'm hoping my kids just got an early start because of the work and life that I have.
And that right there, I think as a parent, we all want to, we only have so much time to do our job. Yeah. And, that is to, at the end of the day, raise a decent human being. I mean,
exactly.
To let them know that, hey, whatever you decide is good.
Mm-hmm. As long as it's not hurting anybody or hurting yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah. You can be whoever or whatever you want to be, and that can change.
Exactly.
So, and that's awesome that you're able to do that. And it drives home, again, as we talked about, sex work isn't negative work. It is work. You're still a human being, a devoted mother, a great person, even with your it's not like you aren't because of your career and your choice of jobs.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And I love that you guys do this work and continue to, share that narrative with the world, like destigmatizing and normalizing people in the adult world, the adult industry, and just living life in your terms. I think it's a lot terrifying than we've been taught that it is. And it's obviously completely worthwhile.
Yeah. And we've said before, we have made such great friends in this industry that we talk and text to on a regular basis. How's life? What's happening? How are the dogs? How are the kids? Whatever it is. It's just the soccer mom down the street. It's no different. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Awesome.
So good.
So as we wrap up, can you one more time let everyone know where can they find you online and on social media?
Yes, come say hi. You can find all my links at NikoleMitchell.com. I'm on every platform you can imagine. I run all my own social media, so if you ever send me a message, it's always me answering, and I would love if you'd come say hi.
Awesome. Well, this has been a great conversation. We truly appreciate it. It was great getting to know you and being open and honest and just wanting to share your story.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yep. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and well, maybe we'll see you next year in Vegas.
Yes, that would be awesome. Thank you guys. This was great.
Thank you.
Yep. Bye.
Well, that is a story.
Truly.
And a positive one. A positive of so much that we've kind of discussed of, well, you got one life, have fun, live it, explore, and do.
And she's honestly like, here's my story, and this is it. This is me.
Exactly. There absolutely no reservations, no feel bads. No, it is, hey, this is me. This is my life. This is what I chose, and I'm doing this for me. Mm-hmm. So again, we want to thank her and thank Lainey. Just an awesome, fun conversation and great person. So every interview we bring you is just another friend that we're making. Mm-hmm. And they're definitely all unique and special in their own ways. And yeah, this was a great time. So with that, I think it's time to wrap this one up as well.
Stay tuned for the next episode.
Don't forget to follow us on our social medias. Berg Couple for Fun on Twitter and Instagram. The Bergs on Facebook and Reddit. OnlyFans.
Yeah.
What's the OnlyFans? There's two of them.
There are.
Did you? Yeah, I remember that one. There's two of them. So there is ours. Mm-hmm. Is Berg Couple for Fun, but then
yes,
Mrs. Has her own.
That's right.
Oh, and that is
Mrs. Berg.
All right. Mm-hmm. So you can catch us there as well. You can hit us up on email, thebergs@inourtub.com.
Right.
Our website is inourtub.com.
Mm-hmm. Catch us on Free Swap or
Full.
Yeah, full Free Swap. Full Swap Radio. See, you asked me if I remember my lines.
Free for all swap. I mean, hey.
On Full Swap Radio.
Yes. Monday at 9 and Fridays at 1. And hey, keep an eye out on those social medias as well. That's where our travel plans and the upcoming where we gonna be is gonna be. So, with that, remember to pay for your porn. Support all the wonderful, beautiful content creators and performers that we have on this show, that we know within the industry. Take care of yourself. Mental health. Do what makes you keep ticking and being yourself. Remember to wrap it before you tap it, lick it before you stick it, and until next time,
we'll keep the lights on and the tub warm for you.
I